Hey guys, it's Panda. I'm just going to do a quick little tutorial video on how to make your own, a medicated version of the blue milk that they have in Star Wars. And I guess it's a big deal now to get that as a treat when you go to the new Star Wars experience at the Disneyland, I think in Florida is where they have it. I saw a few different YouTubers that mentioned that and tried it out on their channel, tried it out on their video. I wanted to show you guys how you can make your own blue milk, and it's actually pretty tasty and pretty medicated. So this is for adults only. If you want to make a non-medicated blue milk, you can follow the same recipe, just don't add the medicated oil to it. Because I'm a medical cannabis user, this is something I use often. So if you've never used it or don't use it very often, be careful and make sure you don't use too much of the oil, because it could be a unpleasant experience if you do. So what you're going to do is start out with a can of blue Funfetti frosting. That's the only kind they had at my store that was blue, was the Pillsbury. So if you have any other, you can also use other colors if you don't want it to be blue, but I'm using blue. So what I do when I make mine, I use a whole can of frosting, and I use my medicated coconut oil, which I have a tutorial for, and there are also several other more professionally done tutorials on making medicated oil or butter if you want to look those up on YouTube. And put the coconut oil, in the microwave until it melts for 10 seconds or so. And you only need probably a tablespoon for the whole can. So I use about a tablespoon and mix it in really well. Once you melt the oil, it's a lot easier to mix in. You use room temperature frosting, and then once you've mixed it up and it's made, you can put it in the refrigerator until you use it. Okay, so this is already medicated. So what you're going to do is put your cup of milk in the microwave and get it nice and hot. We have some more milk. You're going to want to put your scoop of frosting in. And it's just hot enough to semi-melt the frosting. And then because the frosting is cold, you're going to want to put it back in the microwave for another 30 to 60 seconds. Depending on how big your mug is, because I usually use a fairly good sized mug. And that'll make sure, if you put it back in the microwave, it'll melt it all the way, and it'll also make it warm enough to put your hot chocolate mix in. So I'm going to pop it back in, and I'll be right back. Okay, now it's nice and hot again. Just going to make sure it's all stirred. And as you can see, it's not quite, my camera's not picking up all the blue, but it's also not quite as blue as I'd like it to be. So I also have some blue food coloring. But before we do that, this is the kind of hot chocolate mix I use because it's my favorite kind. I like any kind of white hot chocolate better than regular, but if you want to keep it blue, you're going to want to use white hot chocolate, or you don't have to really use anything else if you're, not medicating it. It's gonna taste pretty medicated for my version, so that's why I add this. If you're only using blue frosting, that'll be enough to sweeten it up a little bit for whoever wants to use that. I'm going to add some of that, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, you want to add some blue food coloring to make it a little more colorful. That's a good idea. So let's do that. And you can also, add whatever else you want to it, whipped cream or sprinkles or whatever for kids, if it's something your kids want. So there you go. Nice medicated blue milk. And I hope you guys enjoy. And let me know if you have any ideas or if you tried it out and liked it. Hope you guys are having a good summer. Peace out.